we are entering a 20-year lease, and I confess to you that we now occupy one full floor, as we have for decades. And the new lease provides for 2 floors, so I just want you to know that your management is loosening up just a little bit. And whether or not we fill them is another question, but we will have that. And I would like to say to Omaha that I think the fact that Berkshire has signed up for 20 years is very good news for the city over time. Okay, and now I would like to tell you something about the people that make all of this possible. This is a homegrown operation. We started with a few people meeting in the lunchroom at National Indemnity many years ago, and I think we will probably set another record for attendance today. Yesterday afternoon, 16,200 people came in 5 hours, and that broke the previous record by a couple thousand. On Tuesday, the Nebraska Furniture Mart did $9.3 million worth of business. And if any of you are in the retail business, you'll know that that's a yearly volume for some furniture stores. And here in Omaha, the 50th or so largest market in the country, maybe even a little less, 9.3 billion, I think, probably exceeds anything any home furnishing store has ever done in one day. And we have people pitching in. We have all of the people, virtually all of the people from the home office. Some of them, they'll take on any task. We have a bunch of people from National Indemnity, for example, that come over, and they've been some of the monitors around. And in terms of the exhibit hall, more than 600 people from our various subsidiaries give up a weekend, come to Omaha, work very hard, and tomorrow 4 or 4:30 I should say today at 4 or 4:30 they will start packing up things and heading back home. And they come in, and I saw them all yesterday, and they were a bunch of very, very happy, smiling faces. And they don't, they work hard all year, and then they come in and help us out on this meeting. And then finally, if we could get a spotlight, I think Melissa Shapiro is someplace here. She runs the whole show. I mean, Melissa, where are you? Melissa's name was Melissa Shapiro before she got married. Then she married a guy named Shapiro, so now she's Melissa Shapiro. So but she can handle that sort of thing. She handles everything, and never totally unflappable, totally organized. Everything gets done. Everybody likes her when they get through. So it's marvelous to get a chance to work with people like this. I think it's a special quality that at Berkshire. I think other people would hire some group to put on the meeting and all be very professional and all of that. But I don't think you can buy the enthusiasm and energy and help the next guy feeling that you've seen out on that exhibition floor, and you'll see as you meet people here at the hall, and as you meet the people around Omaha. They're very, very happy that you're here. And with that, I would like to start on the questions. We'll do it just as we've done it in recent years. We'll start with the press group. They've received emails from a great many people. Perhaps they can tell you how many, and selected the questions they think would be most useful to the Berkshire shareholders. Yahoo is webcasting this, as they've done for several years now. They've done a terrific job for us. So this meeting is going out both in English and in Mandarin, and I hope our results translate well, or our comments translate well. Sometimes we have trouble with English, but we'll start in with Carol Loomis, my friend of 50 years, but you'll never know it by the question she's going to ask me.
I'm going to start very briefly. This is for the benefit of people who send us questions next year. There are kind of two things that you get wrong a lot of time. You can't send two-part questions or three-part, etc. We need a one-part question. And the other thing is that the question really needs to have some relevance to Berkshire, because Warren said when he started it that his hope was that shareholders would come out of the questions with a further education about the company. So keep those in mind for next year. Many people, a number of people, wrote me about repurchases of stock, and that's the question I picked for my first one. The question this particular question comes from Ward Cookie, who lives in Belgium and who was still emailing me this morning in reference to the first quarter report. And he asks, my question concerns your repurchase of Berkshire shares. In the third quarter of last year, you spent almost $1 billion buying Berkshire B stock at an average price of $207. But then you got to a period between December 26th and April 11th when the stock languished for almost 4 months under 207, and yet you purchased what I think of as a very limited amount of stock, even as you were sitting on an enormous pile of $112 billion. My question is why you did not repurchase a lot more stock, unless, of course, there was for a time an acquisition of, say, $80 billion to $90 billion on your radar.
Yeah, the question, whether we had $100 billion or $200 billion would not make a difference, or $50 billion, would not make a difference in our approach to repurchase of shares. We repurchase shares. We used to have a policy of tying it to book value, but that really became obsolete. It did not. The real thing is to buy stock, repurchase shares only when you think you're doing it at a price where the remaining shareholders are worth more the moment after you repurchased it than they were the moment before. It's very much like if you were running a partnership and you had 3 partners in it and the business was worth $3 million, and one of the partners came and said, I'd like you to buy back my share of the partnership for $1 billion. I started out with millions. I'll stay with millions. For $1.1 million, and we'd say, forget it. And if he said $1 million, we'd probably say, forget it. And if he said $900,000, we'd take it, because at that point, the remaining business would be worth $2.1 million, and we'd have 2 owners, and our interest in value would have gone from $1 million to $1,050,000. So it's very simple arithmetic. Most companies adopt repurchase programs, and they just say we're going to spend so much. That's like saying we're going to buy XYZ stock, and we're going to spend so much, or we're going to buy a company, and we're going to spend whatever it takes. We will buy stock when we think it is selling below a conservative estimate of its intrinsic value. Now, the intrinsic value is not a specific point. It's probably a range in my mind that might have a band maybe of 10%. Charlie would have a band in his mind, and it would probably be 10%. And ours would not be identical, but they'd be very close. And sometimes he might figure a bit higher than I do, a bit lower. But we want to be sure when we repurchase shares that those people who have not sold shares are better off than they were before we repurchased them. And it's very simple.